So this is going to be a video where I actually talk, and it's not something I like to do in my videos because I do not have a femme voice. I do not pretend to have a femme voice, and I cannot do a femme voice without sounding like a guy trying to do a femme voice. Now I hit 600 subscribers, which I think is really cool for just a channel that's been 99% me walking down the street with a GoPro. Not the most entertaining videos always, but basically the reason I do them is to inspire others to stop hiding behind locked doors and just be themselves when they're ready. And that's what I wanted to do this video about, and actually talking about some tips to going out and talking about my first time going out. But I happened to leave my list on the toolbox here, so I have to get up and get that. And I thought it'd be fun to do the video in my garage because there's a lot of personal reflection stuff in here about me. I have a love of Japanese cars, my transgender flag, my Columbus Blue Jackets flag, and my hockey fan. Some car show stuff, some other car stuff, championship banner from the Cincinnati minor league hockey team, which I used to have season tickets to, and of course my photography. So if you're wondering what's on the walls, there it is. And then, you know, my toolbox and tools, because although I haven't worn this dress in forever because, well, I got a little too much of there to really pull it off, but I think it kind of works when I'm sitting down. So I first went out cross-dressing in public maybe around 2014, and I used to just kind of go for drives. I would hide, you know, back when I had to hide it, and I had roommates or whatnot, lived with family. I would always kind of like hide the clothes under your clothes, go in the car and hide things in the car and kind of change that way. Just go for a simple drive and only be seen by, you know, right here. I think that's an easy way to start. Especially if you have to hide it, because you can hide things in a car. From there, it eventually got to the point where it was like, you know, the car's fun, but I'm putting a lot of miles on my car just to get dressed up and go outside and be outside dressed up. Well, let's try walking. So I would wait until, you know, like a Sunday where foot traffic was really small, go to a safe area that was well lit outside of my own town, close enough drive, about 10-20 minutes in, and I still go there today. It's really hard to do videos in my town because we have very nosy cops who want to stop and ID you, and it's a whole nother situation. So I go to a town, very large LGBTQ plus population, bars and all that all around. So I started up down there, and I would just kind of stay near my car, walk the sidewalk on a well-lit part of the street. It was the main road, but, you know, or adjacent to the main road, and I would just kind of, over time, slowly get used to being seen by cars driving down the road, realizing that 99% of the people just ignored you. I was always I did have my creepy encounters every great once in a while, but for the most part, most people ignore you from afar when it's not a popular area, until I just got more comfortable being seen by people. Once the random person would be seen by me and didn't react, I was like, okay, this isn't so bad, and so on and so forth. And you just kind of get more comfortable and you go into more crowded places and you do more things and you get to be yourself more because you become comfortable with yourself more. You get comfortable with people's reactions more, and you learn to ignore them or make fun of them in your own head as you walk by and notice them glaring at you as they're dressed like crap and you're dressed up kind of nice and looking a lot better with very, you know, little effort compared to what they put into their day. And you're like, I think you might just be jealous that I have the confidence to do this and I look a little better than you do right now. That's opinion, that's not fact. So the rush eventually wears off, and I miss the rush in a sense, but it is what it is. You know, the rush gets worse. You kind of do more risque things, I guess. Maybe how you dress or whatnot. If you're looking for that rush, you find yourself doing right. So there's still things I haven't done that I want to do, but I want to do with somebody else for not only my safety, but for the video reasons. I want them to record versus me trying to hide the camera on the side of my purse and make sure people don't notice it completely, to get their honest reactions, because that's how I do it. I carry a purse, I have the GoPro kind of tucked towards peeking out the side of it, and that's how I'm able to kind of get the reactions. I can keep my hand on the camera to turn it a little bit of angle if I need to. And yeah, that's how I do my videos. But if you want to go out cross-dressing and you want to be yourself in public and you're ready to make that first step, well, it's not that hard. These are just, I think, 10 tips I came up with, and the last 2 were pretty generic. But you might hear others, you've watched other videos, but you know, this is more for the subscribers and the regular videos who've been wanting to do it on their own. I've tried to make kind of like tips inside of videos before, but I figured this might be a little bit more personal, a little bit more relatable to those that want to make that next step. Now, I'm not pressuring you to. I am, but I'm not, because I think the world's a lot better when you're not hiding behind locked doors and you are who you are, even if you're just in an experimenting stage and you're curious if this is who you are. It's just better behind locked doors. I tell you, I am openly trans now in my life. I've been for almost a year now. It'll be a year in either late October or very early November. And it's a lot easier for me being that I don't have to worry about running into friends and them being, oh my God, you know, it's, but that rush of that will be missed. I will not lie, of having the secret. However, overall, my life has been better without having the secret. So my first step or tip would be to go where you know you will be safe. So go to an area you're familiar with, where you know that foot traffic or even pedestrian vehicle traffic may be low. Don't go to a place that's sketchy just because it's dark, because you might not know what's hiding in the background 99% of the times. I like 99% apparently. There's going to be no one there and it's all just paranoia. But you never do know. So just go where you know you're going to be safe, be it an empty parking lot, and kind of a street where there's no open businesses and you can park on the side of the road, walk up and down a couple times, get used to the feeling and all that. Feeling the sidewalk or the street under your heels. Just start slow there. And number 2 would be to make sure you go to well-lit areas, because it's not, it's partially about being seen, but it's also partially about being safe. Usually in well-lit areas, there are less things going on that shouldn't be going on, and cameras can pick up what they need to pick up if ever need be. If you're worried about security cameras and all that, I mean, you walk past them every day in your life and you don't even notice them. It's not like they scroll through every night looking for something weird happening. You're probably not going to be seen on a security camera or even noticed unless a lonely security guard is sitting there just staring empty at the screen. And in which case, you might give him a little treat. So as you venture out more and you've gotten more comfortable, start letting people see you, like passing cars. A road where there's really no stop signs or intersections or main entrances or something. Just a part of the road where you're on the sidewalk and cars are passing you at a speed limit. Keep your car close parked by to a parking lot or a side street or whatever you need to do, but just let the vehicles that are capable of passing. And the more you do that, the more comfortable you'll be with being seen, because you know people are probably noticing you. Not everybody's paying attention to who's walking down the sidewalk, but occasionally somebody might holler something out, and it'll kind of get you used to reactions, experiencing them firsthand. I can't say that every one of your reactions are going to be positive or not creepy or they're all going to be negative, but you'll probably get a mixture. You'll get that one young group of idiots that just feel the need to be loud and heard and offensive and they don't care, or you'll get the over supportive LGBT ally or LGBT person yelling something like "Yes, Queen," or "Oh, you're so beautiful," or something like that. And yeah, you get so many different reactions in the world, and that's what kind of makes it fun in a sense. So as you've gotten used to people seeing you driving by, you get to a point where maybe the occasional person will walk by, maybe a bench on the sidewalk or something where you can sit and just kind of let them pass, and you can ignore them if you don't feel safe or anything like that, or they give you a funny vibe or you just don't want to engage. Just let the occasional person see you, just again, so you can maybe kind of look up while keeping your head down to kind of see their reaction and get used to that, because you're going to get reactions eventually. Again, for the good and the bad. But we all get reactions when we go out, whether we notice it or not. People are constantly judging everybody. I do it myself. You do it. And you may not even really realize you're doing it. But we constantly make judgments on people we see. It's just the good human beings out there keep it to themselves. So step number 5, or trick number 5, would be to just stay relaxed and act like you belong there. If you are constantly looking over your shoulder, feeling like you're being watched, or someone's following you, or you're freaking out and someone comes near you and you go running off the other way, it looks suspicious. And it looks like something's up with that person. And it's going to draw more attention to you. So if you just kind of walk like you normally would, with purpose and as you belong, and that you're not, like that you're just any other person, as if you were male walking down the street. If you do that, then you're gonna blend in better, and you're not gonna have as much of a reaction to you. Most people just try to glance up, see a figure, and ignore it. Like, okay, just some lady walking down the street. So number 6 is that, again, and I've mentioned this before because it does tie in with so many other things. People may stare. Some are going to compliment. Some will ignore you. Some will even be vocally negative, which is sad, sucks, but you're going to get it. And it's just, you're more brave to put up with it than you are to hide and lock doors. Because you're being yourself out in the real world. And not everybody's able to do that, or capable of doing that, or has the guts to do that. So, if you're ready to be outside and be seen, that's a way to do it. Ignore people that you don't want to interact with. And I kind of mentioned this earlier as well. If you don't get a good feeling of just the way someone's kind of been acting, the way you've been approaching, or you're not interested or anything like that, just simply ignore them. You just don't look at them. If they say something, just keep walking. If they say something again, just continue walking. And chances are, in my experience, that's all it's going to be, is that they're just going to stand there and keep yapping their mouth, and they will eventually just give up because you're showing absolutely no interest. Now, I do have a few stories of interactions with people. One where I did try ignoring this lady, and she followed me for 3 blocks, even me taking weird ways to get to this spot, She kept following me every step, and I finally just had enough and just looked at her and said, will you please quit following me, lady? Um, so sometimes you do just gotta get a little vocal, but I usually use it as a last resort. Tip number 8 is to dress appropriate. Now, if I go out in something like this, you know, I think it used to be latex or generic latex or something like that. What the heck? I had deodorant on it. I'm probably going to draw attention to myself because it's a bit whorish. If I go out in a maid uniform, that is one of the things that I don't always have the confidence to wear in public, which I wish I did. Somewhere I lost some of it. I don't know where, but it's like I had a conscience or something kick in going, you shouldn't wear that in public, but I kind of like wearing it in public. So I'm going to draw attention wearing a maid uniform. The cheerleading uniform I wore in the previous video, that's going to draw attention. I kind of was pushing myself to feel a little bit uncomfortable again as a reality check and whatnot, and there's maybe a little bit of a rush. And I had to ease myself into being seen by more people who started with just, like I did here, like I told you, just go to a low populated area where there's only going to be cars driving by, and then let a person or two see you, and then slowly kind of work into a slightly more populated area where people could see you, and then call it a night. That's how I approached last night, because I tried to make myself a little bit uncomfortable, just for the fun of it, I guess. Now, tips 9 and 10 are pretty generic. 9 is to just enjoy it, because, and it goes with 10. The rush goes away, and being free, being you, is a nice break from not having to hide it. And you'll be surprised what it does for your mood when you come home after a decent little maybe walk or whatnot. And number 10 is that the more you do this, and the more you go out in public, and the more you're around people, the more comfortable you get with not only the situation, but yourself. And that's the most important part of all this, I think. And why I included it, because it's not about necessarily getting people's reactions. I try to get people's reactions to try to help you, and maybe show you how I deal with it. If I get a compliment, I say thanks. Again, don't have a failed voice. There's times where I get some guy trying to hit on me. I have zero interest in, and I really don't want to get in on my sexuality and such, because it's kind of complicated. I'm not attracted to guys, but if I don't want to be bothered with them, and I got some guy going, oh, hey, honey, or whatever, hey, sexy. Sometimes I like to mess with them and go, yeah, I'm a guy, and that usually turns them away really, really, really quickly. But I do this in populated areas and such. Like there is a risk with that somebody gets so offended that they just themselves try to holler at a guy in a dress, and they could overreact. So I do it in populated areas so that there is that little bit of possible protection there, that if somebody does try to attack me or something, there may be a security guard for a club around that could step in, or at least security cameras to capture it for police reports and whatnot. But the important thing is as I did it more, I got more comfortable with myself, and it got to a point where, and this is how I decided it was time to come out about me being this, it came to a point where I wanted to get caught, like legitimately caught. Like I wanted to turn a corner and bam, be face first with someone I knew. That way I could get the secret out. That's how I knew it was time for me. That's a whole nother story, which I've actually talked about on another channel. I think I linked it once upon a time ago in my community page on YouTube here. I think there was a link to it, where I go to my other channel, my male channel, which is mostly about cars and photography. where I talk about the whole why I decided to come out and all that. But yeah, I wanted to get caught, and that's when I knew it was time. And you know, it was just like now that I'm out, going out is so much more enjoyable because I can go grocery shopping, not necessarily like this, but like this. I can go to wherever I want, and there's still going to be some people that are surprised because maybe they don't know, but I'm sure rumors and gossip is spread enough that the majority of people who know me now know. But yeah, it was very freeing. So I'll leave you with that. And fun little 600 subscriber video. Now, if I could only get the monetization marks of watch time, yeah, hopefully getting to 3,000 won't be much longer. And then I'll do more videos like this. Maybe live stream where I can take questions and live and such. I don't know. That's it. I'm going to do a spin and turn the camera off. Whee!